Hey everyone. Okay. Hey everyone. Just inviting Khotan now, so he'll be coming in now, and we'll start the next part of the takeover. Actually, Khotan was one of the first artists that I met. Hey there, Khotan.
Hey,
Your background. Oh my god.
I know it's it's a big painting I did a few years back.
Wow. Wow, wow,
Yeah,
wow.
it's quite big. I can I'll try to show it. Yeah, I know it was quite challenging to get here.
Your large pieces are always to me the most impressionate like of anything that you do. I think working small for you, they're beautiful, but when you have the full space, you do something completely special. Really.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Um, everyone kind of welcome to Khotan and I and our talk. Kind of just wanted to ask him a couple questions about not so much his art particularly this time, but
Mhm.
what kind of this year has inspired you and what you're wanting to do moving forward with the next year.
Yeah, well, it's been quite a year, right?
Yeah, for all of us.
Very, very interesting year. Yeah, so I was lucky enough to do three shows this year. Uh, the first one was Simbiote that we did at the uh,
With
Camp Gallery at the other location with Beatriz Chachamovitz. And that show was really special to me because basically what I did is I made like a small studio space in my house. You could see my table right now, but I brought everything here and tried to set up some type of workspace. And what ended up happening is, as you just said, I was used to working big, as you see from my painting behind, but then with these works, I started to go quite intimate, and I did a lot of drawing and a lot of sketching and a lot of just playing around with materials, and that ended up being some of the pieces. It ended up being the show we did,
yeah,
uh, which was quite I would say an interesting route for me. Those smaller size paintings, some about 10 to 11 inches, but basically what it was a lot of a time to kind of reflect on things, and I would do those at night, sometimes at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And funny enough, then I would wake up with my daughter and she would scribble something, and her intensity, and I would kind of take away from her, take her use of color and her energy and I actually tried to incorporate that into some of the pieces. And we ended up doing, I think, a beautiful show with Chachamove, which, funny enough, she was kind of in the same mode. She used color and drawing to kind of, I would say, in a way, counter like the feeling of anxiety and other things that came with this year.
yeah. It's definitely been harder on all of us, especially as creatives. It's our inspiration of the world, of the people we meet. It's been so restricted because of this time. So it's different avenues that we have to reflect on. And I think when you did Symbiote, it was a lot of reflection on this new state of being that we kind of all were in. Still mid quarantine, truly, when that exhibition went kind of open.
True.
It was still early times. But how has kind of your approach changed because of all the things that had happened this year? Do you find yourself kind of more in tune with stuff at home, or are you wanting to search more of the outside again?
I absolutely want to, you know, we artists tend to have this polarizing thing, and I definitely want to go back out, and I want to do back to like space and bigger paintings and bigger projects. At the same time, though, I've been exploring a lot because of the sketching. I usually don't prep my work when I do a painting. I just like go at it and see what comes up and what surprises me. I never do any prep work for painting. But funny enough, for sculptural projects, I do a lot of sketching because it involves 3D space.
Yeah.
So I have like tons of like books, you know, that I just explore kind of like sketches and drawings and see which ones I think I want to explore and then translate
Some of those
into sculpture.
some of
And
those here from remember that I picked some of your pieces for the Pinta show, Pinta
right
that we did. And
yes. That was a great show, by the way. The great curating, and I'm really grateful for being part of it with you. And yeah, those are the monkey series that I do. That's part of like the sometimes I just sketch. I actually have some here. Look, I don't know if yours. I have like some of the monkey series here.
Melanie has mentioned to us, oh my God, that black and white one is like one of my favorites from the ones we picked. Melanie has mentioned to me that part of why she initially like reached out to you and wanted you to draw into camp was because of that series.
Really?
Yeah, it was because of that one.
That's great. Yeah, those pieces are I really like them. I wanted to draw a face, but I didn't like. I wanted that concept of eyes, mouth, nose, and everything. And I've always been fascinated with apes and monkeys and all that. So instead of drawing human faces, I just went for monkeys. You know, in a way, it was like that was a choice I did to try to explore. You know, the line and the expression. And then recently I've been doing some sketches like these. I don't know if you see them. They're like three-legged creatures somehow. And those are the ones that I want to also kind of develop and do. And then I try to do them into like little, you know, so they kind of stand alone like this, you see? Oh,
Yeah.
this one's a little, hey, gotta fix that.
You're still being molded.
Yeah, you see? So I definitely want to, for sure, next year start exploring sculpture, and I'm also trying to see and been researching a lot of the new technologies that are out there because we need to use them as a tool, like 3D scanning and printing and new materials to use for sculpture, because as we know, that's usually it's very traditional what materials are used. So I'm looking into combinations of things to come up with interesting ways, and I also want to see how I can incorporate also software that it kind of adds an element of AL, which is the concept of artificial intelligence, a little bit there, to see, you know, like put some limitations and codes into it and see what kind of how it morphs, you know, into something else and something new. So I've been thinking a lot about using the new technologies out there to kind of explore art making.
That's, I think, I'm a big, even though I traditionally work in pen and paper as well, I'm a big proponent of new media. I think it gives us abilities to show off things and kind of tackle different senses that traditional media always can't. It's not that it's being replaced, but it's a new form. So taking advantage of whatever we can to make a story, make feelings that are really particular to the audience, I think it's really inventive. It's nice to be emerging that.
What I see is that usually a lot of the software and tools are very market oriented. You know, even filmmaking and TV, all its tool is to kind of create these product that's then going to be commercialized and used in that sense. So I like to take away that tool sometimes and use it in a very try to use it in a very different way. Like really use it as a tool, basically, but to come up with different things. And I think he speaks of the time, and I think as an artist, one has to do that. It becomes a contemporary art in the sense that you're using the new tools available out there. So yeah, I mean, I paint, which is like the most basic, art making thing there is. But
I only recently got a drawing tablet, so like I'm touching digital drawing for the first time, I think.
Did you? How is it? Tell me about it, because I got myself for Christmas a new iPad as well, and I've been doing a lot of digital drawing. It's very interesting.
I was actually just trying it out like a couple hours before like getting on. I just got a new cable for it, so I was drawing away, and it's definitely a different feeling. I was so, like, the only thing I had relatively close was a very basic tablet that I got like 7-8 years ago. But now I have one with like a full screen, like an iPad, and it feels nice, but it's going to take a while to get used to the technical skills.
Right. And there's the things out there are amazing in terms of the apps and it's just incredible. What I think it is, though, it really what I like about it, it helps you to create quick ideas faster. Yeah. Like if you're exploring a concept and versus pen and pencil, it takes a while to color something, and with the digital drawing, it's really fast. So in that sense, it's So again, I think it's just a really interesting tool that helps you create.
A lot of these things are tools. There's in the same way as paintbrushes, using AI, using 3D printing, as I know you're like exploring. They're tools to make us better artists. It's not that they have to completely like change the way that we're representing art, but in the same way that a paintbrush can be used to paint on watercolor, paint with oils, acrylics, and we should be using these new media as a way to explore these different avenues, these different things that we can incorporate.
Yes, I agree with you. I think they're very interesting to explore sometimes. It's just, it takes you away from your sometimes work, and sometimes they'll give you the feedback is they'll give you new ideas that then you can incorporate into the painting because of the exploring you did. So yeah. I'm enjoying myself with these new tools.
But now we've talked a lot of the things in the past, your last exhibition, and kind of what you're learning now. What do you want to kind of say that you're going to be applying them going forward for the next year as we kind of come into a new
first
decade?
off, I just want to say cheers to all. I'm drinking. It's Have you ever heard of the I mispronounce this always. Bru Afsa. Bru Afsa.
What?
Yeah, it's like an Indian drink. It's the most refreshing drink. You have to try it. Nothing tastes like it. It's made out of rose water and this other oil. Oh my God, I forgot. Kira. That's the name. It's this plant that has this fruit, and they take out the oil, and then those are the like two main ingredients. So it's a very refreshing drink. You've never tried it?
No. Like for me, if I see something new, I immediately like just go and try it. No fear, because you might as well. You only get the opportunity maybe once. So no, now I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, look it up. You'll see. It's very interesting. Well, one of the things is just to wrap up. The other a great show I was involved last year was Nature and Artifice, which was another show that one of the people there at the gallery curator, which is Mario Andres. He did a great job. And those actually are works of mine, which I did incorporate already the digital aspect of my work, which is I took photographs and I manipulated them and painted on top of them, and basically used the photograph as a just as an image, to work on top. And I think those works are so different than anything I've ever done. So I think that was also, I just want to mention that, because I think he did a great job curating that show, and a lot of it, I mean, well, not a lot of it. Was on that show was online, and I saw. I mean, this year has been the online year, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
But it's been interesting because I've also dived into it. And I've been looking at a lot of shows and doing a lot of research. And as I said, I'll try to show you my desk, but I have everything here, and I have just books about myself, little Hockney book right there, scale, some let me see here, Basquiat. You've seen this one? Drawings.
I have.
You have this one, and so I've set up this table as a kind of a research center, studio, lab, and I've been and writing a lot of ideas as how is it that I want to go forward. And I have an upcoming show in April in your gallery at the camp. Right. And one of the things I definitely want to finally explore is the concept of an immersive experience. Since the space is a little smaller, what I want to try out is something that from the minute you walk in, you are surrounded by the whole, vibe of the images and the color and and the work itself. I want it to be an experience, in itself, from the minute you walk into the gallery.
We're no alien to that. Like we've tried exploring that. So always seeing new interpretations on that is always going to be amazing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just something I've wanted to try out and never actually done it. So it's been on my mind for years now. And I've just I've been thinking of ways to do it. If it's through maybe projections or things like that I want to explore, again using the tools of filmmaking in a different way, and projecting in different objects and things. And so those are the things. I'm actually right now taking a few courses myself in terms of editing and filmmaking, so that I can better use these tools. In the future, and actually manipulate them the way I want them to manipulate them. So I said, I just have to go in and study. It's one of those things, because especially if you're going in a creative route, it's not something they can teach, because the editing is pretty sometimes kind of straightforward in the sense that this is how you edit. But when you're using it as a tool to create art, you kind of need to know the rules to break them.
Always. I took like a great deal of courses on graphic design, and every opportunity I can, especially working for camp, like I can teach someone how to use Illustrator, I can teach someone how to use Photoshop, but I also have to tell them, just start clicking tools, just start knowing what this does, and how you can use it. Because even learning, there's a limit to how much you can kind of grasp in information that you can then kind of use to, like you said, break the rules. Sometimes there's a straightforward answer. Sometimes you can get to that answer just by going around and eventually reaching the same point. It's not like a math test where you have to show your work.
True.
You just get to the right answer, and that's the right answer.
True. Then, and I think that's what we love about art making, because it's a lot of exploring and trying out and using the brain in the different ways.
I think Letitia actually asked a great question. Are you ready for 2021?
Am I ready?
Yeah.
I am.
You are. Like, in your art kind of sense, or in not only art but also a personal sense?
No, personal sense.
Really?
I think everyone wants to, move forward and start the year with a positive mentality. It's been a really, really tough year for a lot of people, and so we have to keep going. And art has taken a big toll this year. All museums and galleries and all that. But it's the tool that we have as humans to kind of decipher the world and understand it. And I think it's probably the most important mechanism we have as humans to kind of understand life.
Yeah.
And the value sometimes is not that it's not that direct, which is why it's hard to quantify art in the sense of how it helps and how it, what the input is to the world. But
Yeah.
when you start going down, the rabbit hole, you see that everything kind of circles around it, from every single creative invention, to how we have evolved, has to do with creative thinking and creative approaches, and essentially that's the nature of art, I think, in a way, and how we recontextualize things.
Yeah, it's an ever-evolving process. Being able to demonstrate an idea to one person may not always affect your whole audience that you're trying to kind of project out to. So seeking different approaches to that, I think, is like a great way to look at how art is displayed, not only in a gallery, not only online, but also kind of the idea of it.
If you don't mind, I would like to ask you, what has been your experience this year and how, I mean, could you recap a little bit, like the main changes and things you've seen in terms of, I mean, if you were to summarize from all the artists you've talked to this year and their attitudes toward this year, what would it be?
I definitely have seen the changes from artist to artist, of them seeking different avenues of not medium, but more so their conceptual ideas. They're trying to look way more between interpersonal ideas and kind of the communication between people. It's been, now art is not so much trying to tell a grander story, but rather a way more personal story. And it's, from every artist, we've seen the kind of change to that. They want to know, people want to know of the hardships. People want to know of the emotions that everyone's experiencing. And art has, especially the art we're trying to put forward, has become way more emotional. People are less afraid to tackle harder issues, especially with the whole mess that 2020 has gone through entirely. Every other month there was a new problem or a new dilemma or new people trying to fight for their rights. And I think all of our artists are trying to take all that emotion and put it way more forward, way more out there than it ever has been. And it's a nice change. It's refreshing to see them not hold back from their ideas. But
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's I think artists have been essential this year, actually.
Yeah.
Even though they're a lot of them are going also through hardships and as you say, a lot of the thing is, artists are more sensible, I would say, than in general. But and also we tend to we actually don't mind sometimes being alone, which is what painting is all about. But man, even us is like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
I love watching informational stuff. I love playing the game here and there, and I just love like sitting down and watching TV with family, friends, whatever. But even I want to step outside. I want to meet people. I want to have the experience of that connection. It's missing.
As you say, it really it really tells you how important it is to that as you say, that connection, right? is we usually don't. I mean, at least myself, I can speak for myself. I didn't understand it, how important it was. Really, I mean, like we usually travel to Mexico or Argentina for the holidays. This year, obviously, we decided not to, for safety reasons and all that. And obviously, you know, you miss family, you miss moments that you could and memories that you could probably have with them, you know. It's been a tough year that way, you know, for a lot of people.
New year,
Yeah.
new experiences.
Yes.
Hopefully
Yes.
everything better. Hopefully.
Absolutely. But I'm still very
we cross
positive.
our fingers.
Though.
We knock on wood.
Yes.
Everything.
Let's get everyone vaccinated soon.
Please. So thank you so much, Khotan. I think we're gonna wrap it up here.
Okay.
Everyone kind of stay tuned. We still have more talks going on throughout the day. And again, thank you to Khotan for joining us and all the stories and even probing me for questions. So it was a good talk. So,
cheers, my friend.
Cheers to everyone tonight. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And again, guys, stay tuned.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.